Guardian steel protects me!
As I live, all will die.
I will unite the Freljord.
No mercy! Fresh tracks. Gotcha.
No time to form up! Ride!
They should be afraid.
What could have been?
I am their end.
To the field! Get my helmet!
No surrender.
warm hearts and hot soup.
How will my people remember me? Gotcha!
How about another round?
Hot on the trail. How dare you!
Met with steel! Unready next.
You are safe. Thank the Protector. Thank your soldiers, Father. With me, Knights of Demacia!
Charge! A noble end!
I came to fight! Hurry, soldier. Your king commands it.
At once, Your Grace.
A good king acts with conviction. Swiftly.
Look what good comes of mortal greed.
Eagle face! Bow to your king.
Do your worst!
Foolish.
My king! Victory is near. Then lead our soldiers to it, my son. Hand me my blade. Stand with your king.
Time!
Bring them here. Stand before me.
My helm now!
Providence, guide me. To the flag! My God! For Demacia!
Squished.
Break their spirits and their swords!
To the flag!
Teeth big as tombstones.
Hurry, soldier. Your king commands it.
At once, your grace.
Just as you were taught. Ours is but to do and die. No quarter! Time to smash!
Do your worst!
How dare you! Bow to your king. Prepare yourself. We move soon.
This will not take long.
My crown. For the king! To the flag! With me! Ours is but to do and die. Excelsior! With me! To the flag! I must end this madness before I lose myself. Odds be damned!
To the field!
Ah, you have my banner.
My friends, how did you escape?
Providence, guide me.
Right out!
Keep moving.
Get my helmet!
With me! Ours is but to do and die.
Noble!
To the flag! Tend to the wounded and pray for the fallen.
They would post the grades at the bulletin, like outside the certain building, designated buildings. And I just remember like looking for my name, and I would I'd be looking, and then I would see the F, and I would just start crying.
Yeah, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Genius Brain Podcast. We have a very special guest. It's actually a guest that you guys have been asking for.
Really?
No shit.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
Thank
Stevie
you.
motherfucking.
Thank you.
You know what the
It's
fuck-
good being here.
Bro, when you texted me, I put your name as your actual name, Steve Lee.
Yeah.
And when it popped up, I was like, yo, who the fuck is this?
Thanks.
Fuck is this? And
Yeah.
I was like, what the fuck? I was like, oh wait, it's Stevie. I was like, this is different.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's way different.
Well, because I know you.
Okay, Steve is different than a Stevie.
Well, I know another Steve Lee, and I'm
Yeah.
like, the fuck, Steve Lee, you fucking shipseki? Like, don't
Oh,
hit me up.
that would be like Pete, but the real alias is Pee Wee. Oh, it's Pee Wee.
I thought it was like some random Steve Lee from my church from like
Yeah.
back in the
Oh,
day.
back in the
And I'm
day.
like, I only know like a couple of Steve Lees. And I'm
Asking
like,
for editing work or something.
I was like, what the fuck? Well, it's because like, you know, people come out of the woodwork sometimes. Like,
Oh, do they do that to you now?
Bro,
Because you're Come on, man. You're successful. You're doing your thing, man.
Well, let me tell you, like, so I had a dude that hit me up. I hadn't talked to this guy in fucking years, right? And the last time I talked to him,
Yeah.
I almost whooped his ass. Like,
Well, what did he do?
it was at a
Hey, I was wondering if you want to do a business venture. I just need $800,000. I got a donut shop.
Yeah.
I wanted to do right there on the corner.
It's a Cambodian donut shop. So he hit me up and he's like, "Hey, bro, how have you been?" I didn't know who the fuck it was.
Yeah.
And I text him back. I'm like, question mark, who the fuck is this? Right? He was like, "Oh, it's me, blah blah blah." I'm not gonna say his name. even though I should.
From junior high school.
And he's like, "Yo, bro, like I live in Seattle now, and I'm actually getting married." And I heard
Business
that you're
venture. It has business
not
venture
even
written all over it,
It's
dude.
not even a business venture. He was
business venture.
he was asking me to marry him and his wife,
Wow.
because he found out that I was an ordained minister and I married a couple of my friends.
All right, that's kind of out of the blue. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's way out of left field.
number one, I don't even fucking like weddings. Like, number two,
Yeah, who likes weddings?
and I messaged him back. I'm like, bro, who the fuck are you?
Oh, you start. That's why I've always admired you. You cut to the chase.
I don't have time for this.
Yeah, you
I
just
don't give a fuck about it.
Yeah,
So,
but you said, "Who the fuck are you?"
yeah, I was like, dog, I haven't talked to you in years.
Yeah.
And on top of that, the last time we talked, I almost beat your ass. What
Really?
the fuck are you talking about right now?
Yeah.
Right? He was like, "Oh man, like that's no disrespect," and I was like, "No disrespect, dude. I didn't even know who the like. It's been so long, I don't even have your number in my phone."
It's like, he's expecting you to be the priest of the fucking wedding.
It's like he wants me to marry him and his wife, his wife now. I've never even met her. Wow. You know what I mean? I haven't talked to
But
him
according
in
to
years.
him, you guys have history, you and the wife.
Yeah, like, we're tight 'cause we
she
went to
was-
the same
you were in
church.
5th grade?
Yeah. Some weird shit. So when I saw your, I was like, "Who the fuck is
All
Steve
right,
Lee?"
well, when did it register? Oh, it's Steve.
Well,
Steve.
when I read it, I was like, Steve. I was like, I had to sit there for a little bit, and then you said,
I wish you had
and then
that footage.
I read it again and said album. I'm like, oh, this is Stevie. I was
Okay.
like, album.
Okay, yeah,
now
yeah.
it makes sense. But you have an album coming out.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you went right to well, like I thought we could do this at the end.
No.
I
We
want
gotta
to talk about the peacocks in your neighborhood.
We'll get to
The
that too.
fucking
But
peacocks everywhere.
I only found out that you rapped not too long ago, and I actually found out through Dumb.
Yeah, I fucking, again, I'm not from LA or anything, but I've always been a fan of the culture, the art, and I've always looked at it as, a art form, similar to like the way fucking painters do their shit, and I've always, and like my kind of, knowledge came from like just watching Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah.
At first.
Yeah.
Every day at 4:30, and then Dr. Dre, I'd love it. You'd be like, and then it's not like it wasn't even your traditional like rap groups. It was the things that caught my eye were like the weird groups. Like what's Dell? Like who's Dell?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this is really tight, Or who's the Boogie Monsters? Or who's the Far Side? Or Cypress Hill. Okay, that's probably a better example. And then I was obsessed with them. And then like through years, I mean, it's been a definite progression where I'm a fan first. I'm a fan. I love the 90s shit, And then but then when I went to ASU, it was first when I saw the Far Side. I saw the Far Side like in high school. My homie had a Suzuki Samurai. It was maybe even a school night. He goes, "Hey, there's this group performing at the distillery in Escondido." I'm like, "Who?" I remember walking to that club. It was a little dinky club. I'm like, "What farce? What is this?"
That's
and I
crazy.
just remember seeing the stickers. It was like with the dog with the fire hydrant, the black and yellow sticker. It's like the traditional Far Side sticker. And then I remember this kid walking by before the show started, like Far Side in the house, or said something like, "Oh, they have a fan base." I knew that.
Yeah.
I didn't say fan base back then. I don't think people said shit like that. Oh, they have a fan base, but in my mind, I'm like, oh, well, people know about these guys.
But they had those fan clubs like back in. They would connect online and they would do meetups and shit.
Yeah, this was like 91. Like, this is before like they even dropped Bizarre Ride to the Far Side.
Okay.
So it was like they either just got signed or about to get something before they even released their album.
Damn, you were like at the inception of Far Side.
the
That's
inception.
That's
The
crazy.
inception where, and boy, let me tell you, that performance really rocked my world. Like, I mean, they were wearing Vans, like Cavallero. You know, they're doing sit-ups on stage, and it was like so bizarre. Like it was bizarre, but really impressive. Like Fat Lip had a shirt off. They're doing weird fucking pop locking moves and routines, and I'm like, okay, I love this shit. And so that's part of my rearing, where I like just experiencing that. I went to a concert in '89. It was the Sugar Cubes, Public Image Limited, but then De La Soul.
Oh shit.
De La Soul was also on the roster of this festival or concert. I was in 8th grade. So I'm like, oh. And that's when I fell in love with them, and I bought 3 Feet High and Rising. So I'm just giving you kind of like a history of how I discovered it. And like, shocking enough, my brother was always like a punk rock or indie rock dude. You know, he had Bob Marley posters around him.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the weird thing, right? Because you and your brother's taste in music is way different.
Way different. No, but people don't realize it's way different. But I learned, because I used to, have you seen the movie Mid-90s?
No.
Oh, it pays homage to like 90s skateboarding, but there's a scene where they have the same dynamic: older brother, young brother. Older brother would leave, and then the young brother would go into his room and like go through his CD collection. Like I did that with Bob. Like he wouldn't be home, and I would sneak in his room, and I would go through his record collection. Dude, he would have like, I learned about Echo and the Bunnymen and like Black Flag to Bob Marley to Depeche Mode to like The Cure and stuff like that.
I feel like your brother like listens to white boy depression music like that. That's like the shit that he likes.
According to him, it's math rock.
Okay, what the fuck is that?
I know. So it's like he schooled me one night. He's like, I go, what is this? It's math rock, dude. No, it's not that. It's math rock, dude. Math rock. It's like, what? So math rock, I guess it's indie rock, kind of like punk rock, but it's technical. No, this is the math. This is where the math terminology comes into play. It's technical. So the chord progressions are math, like, you know what I mean? Like really intricate.
Does he
patterns.
play instruments?
You know, dude, believe it or not, I don't know if he's gonna get mad at this, but he was in like a hippie band. Like,
get the fuck out of here!
So
really?
You want to? It was the name of the band was called Laxton Superb. And
yo,
and then if you look that up, it's named after an apple. So Laxton Superb. It's the type of the apple. Man, there's footage out on the internet of them performing.
Really?
Yeah, dude. He's got long James Eha hair, dude, and he's like waving it around, like, dude, it's the movie. Dude, I'm not lying at all. It's out there. The evidence is out there, dude. So he was okay. So you said, dude. So he had this keyboard. He had this Juno keyboard that he begged my
Juno keyboard.
It's like a Juno. He begged my mom. He begged my mom to buy it for him. And so he was working at some coffee shop in La Jolla, and he got swindled for it.
What are you doing? Hold on a second. Yo, hold on a second. Yo, how the fuck?
Fucking panicking. And this guy approached him like he's a record producer.
No fucking way.
Or something. And he said, you can borrow my keyboard. And dude, it was like a $2,000 keyboard. Yeah, dude. So, dude, I'm telling you, my brother's got piano skills galore.
Really?
Yeah, dude. He could play. He was, dude, I don't know. He might make me edit that out.
At a coffee shop that comes up to him.
No, it wasn't a random. It was some guy he knew, but this guy was like a talker.
Okay.
He probably frequented like the coffee shop like a lot.
Let me see your keyboard.
No,
and he just
no, it wasn't like that. It was more like on like kind of like staking it out.
Yeah.
Grooming him. Per se.
If I lost a $2,000 keyboard that my parents got me at the time, I would have been dead.
Oh yeah.
I think my parents would have beat the fucking blood out of my veins.
Yeah. You know, this is going back to even like growing up in a Korean household.
Yeah.
I remember one night, dude, like he had just gotten out of rehab or relapsed on whatever. And you know Korean fathers.
Yeah.
They're like hella
Prince
tempered.
Jarvan! Thank goodness you're all right!
Highly
Steady
abusive.
yourself, Squire.
To say
There's
the
fighting
least.
to do.
Oh yeah.
Highly abusive. In hindsight, I had to talk to my therapist about all this stuff.
Yeah.
Just trying to go through it and just
I mean,
try
it's just a
to
lot.
work through these things.
Well, because we're both Korean too, and we kind of just accept it as fact, and we don't really think about
Yeah.
the future repercussions that we has
Well,
on
we
us as
didn't
an
realize.
adult.
Oh well, white people don't do that. it's not like this at the Olivers. it's different there. I see his dad hugging him.
Yeah.
I love you, son.
They have a positive affirmation.
Not our dads.
Yeah.
But so anyway, it was at nighttime, and we had like a long hallway. This is our house in Poway. A long hallway, and like our bedrooms are on the hallway. The master bedroom there, my Oma and Appas were at the end.
Yeah.
And then I hear commotion in the hallway. Not commotion, but like boom, like, and I just squeaked open my door. They're doing Jackie Chan versus Jet Li, like kung fu.
Oh, they were fighting each other.
Kung fu fight.
Get the fuck out of here.
No, like my dad was doing high Mao Tai knee, like Sagat knee.
Dude, I just picture your dad as like, I've been waiting for 20 years to kick you ass.
Yeah. And so, but the one thing that stood out is, damn, Bob fought back. He was doing like, he's trying to get double leg takedowns, and he was like backing him up. It was like a back and forth, mutual, like aggressive exchange between father and son.
Wow.
And so you can only imagine me like just peeping this out, like just through a crack of my door.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, dude. He's gonna be so mad at me.
No, it's crazy too, because like there's a moment where you kind of realize that you could probably
Size up your dad?
Size up your dad. Well, my dad's like 5'4".
I'm sorry.
I'm 6'1".
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It sounds just about right. Yeah. That sounds perfectly correct. Yeah. You don't have to tell me twice. I'm laughing, but I'm like, wait a minute, that's normal.
Yeah, I'm a lot bigger than my
Yeah.
dad, right? And so like even for me too, but I think because they beat your ass so much when you're younger, you can't to get that psychological switch of I could stop you if I want to.
Yeah.
It takes a bit of time.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was bigger than him when I was in the 8th grade.
Right.
But for him, like I remember when I went to college and people was like, they would talk about their parents and be like, oh, remember back in the day when you used to get spanked? I'm like, even back in the day, my dad beat my ass yesterday. What the fuck are you
Not
talking
just
about?
spanking, they use weapons and shit
yeah,
too,
for
like
sure.
belts and shit.
I told the story on the podcast before where when I was a kid in elementary school, I specifically remember the shit because I was a class clown. I used to make jokes a lot.
Right.
But if you're a class clown, you obviously get in trouble. And it was I remember the specific joke that I made. It was in 4th grade.
Back then, elementary
This is
school.
elementary school.
Oh shit.
And so I made this stupid little joke where the teacher was doing an exercise where she wanted to use visualization, and I was like, I can't do it because I don't have a camera in my head, so I can't take a picture.
Yeah.
And so that made the kids laugh, and she goes, I'm calling your parents. And I went, fuck.
Oh yeah.
Because she doesn't know what happens when you call my parents.
No,
it's not like they come over and I get reprimanded, with the slap on the wrist. I'm about to get my ass beat.
This is they don't realize you're dealing with a whole different planet of
Exactly.
like consequences.
She doesn't
This
know.
is a different thing.
And so my dad comes over, and then she starts explaining how I'm disruptive in class. I make a lot of jokes, and my dad is just kind of smiling nicely.
You shame the family.
And then in my ear, whispering to me in Korean.
See what happens when you cut it home.
너 집에 가면 너 죽었어? 너 죽었어, 이 개새끼야. And I'm
So
crying.
translation: when you get home, you're dead.
Yeah, you're dead.
You just said that.
Yeah, and so I'm crying, but the teacher doesn't know. She's like, your father's very pleasant.
Oh,
And I'm like,
yeah.
no. You don't know what the fuck he's saying to me right now.
Yeah.
So we get home, and my dad is just speeding on the way back home because he's fucking pissed. Right? He always drives like 1,000 miles per hour when he's mad. We get home, he goes, go in first.
You go in first.
Right, so I open the door, right? And
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just had a visual, dude. This is PTSD.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
So I go inside, right? And it's just dead quiet.
Yeah.
And he tells me to go into the living room.
Oh, yeah.
And then it's just dead quiet. I turn
No
around.
kondangi.
I fucking turn around and a fucking office chair is flying at my head.
Oh, yeah. That sounds right.
Bow! Hits
Yeah.
me in the head. And then my dad starts like WWE stomping me on the floor.
Yeah. Oh, I got one for you. I got another one for you. So I'm in a 5th, 6th grade. I have the new Casio first ever sampling keyboard.
Okay.
Where you could press a button, go, hey, and then the lower octaves, hey, 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 hey. You know, the Freddy Krueger keyboard. Me and my white friend David Oliver, laying, you know, he's on the bed, we're fucking around with it. It was, my dad was taking a nap.
Oh, shit.
He was taking a nap. He's got like 3 clothing store, but he's tired. Dude, he fucking bum rushes in the room butt naked. Yes, yeah! And he fucking pulls the keyboard out of the socket and uses it as like Thor's fucking hammer on my back. Like he uses boom, beating my ass in front of
David
my.
Oliver?
Oh, it probably traumatized him to this day.
He's just like,
It traumatized him to this
with
day.
these
I mean,
groups?
yeah. And so he's fucking, you know, I'm crying. Oh, Dad, I'm sorry, you know, dude. That's not the traumatic part. So he beats my ass. I'm fucked. I don't know. I felt like he broke my back. He's leaving the room, and I look, you know, I see his fucking ass. There's fucking tissue paper sticking out of his ass, dude. No, it's like fucking like a long, not even. It was like stringy. It was like a tampon, you know, like the string. So that's what like I remember from this traumatic event. Like, damn, my dad's asshole's like moist. Like, he got like a moist. He got like a wet butthole. You know, that's like some Korean remedy. Like,
wait.
It was like I don't know. I didn't ask.
Yeah.
Why would you?
You just had
I'll
a
get
fucking
another
keyboard
beating
to the
for
back.
asking. Like, hey Dad, why do you have tissue paper sticking out of your asshole? You don't even ask when you're 18.
Yeah.
Or even 25.
You just
or
accept it.
35 or 85 years old. You
Yeah.
never ask. That's just something.
Alter the
Yeah.
tide.
That's some other shit.
Why is he naked?
That's a good question.
I'm trying to figure out why he thought it was appropriate to show
That's
his
a
dick
pretty
to
good
another
question.
fucking white kid named David Oliver. Like,
It's a pretty good question. I guess the only thing I can think of, you put me on the spot. Maybe in like where he's from, Busan. I don't know what the fuck. Maybe in his Korean village or whatever.
Yeah.
That's the way they did it in there. I don't know.
what the fuck?
I know, butt naked, dude.
Was he butt naked all the time for no reason?
That's also a good question.
Like in the house, like he's naked.
No. But that day he was.
The day that David Oliver came over.
Dude, imagine what that would do if you were like a white kid.
What if like?
I mean, imagine what he would think of Korean families after that. Like, oh, this is how they do it in their household?
Did he come over again after
Protects
that?
me.
I don't think so. For a long time. I would get so jealous. I'd go to their house, and like I said, like, man, this kid had it all. He had like an aquarium, like with lizards. He had like a nice bookshelf. He had like all, you know. Not to say like we had a good upbringing, but like the way his father embraced him, I was so fucking jealous. Like he would walk down the steps and he would hug him in front of me. He'd go, "Son, I love you. You know, I love you so much, son."
My
And
dad
then
has
he would
never
say,
said I
"Steven, you're
love
always
you.
welcome. You're always welcome here as well, Steven." You know, they would say shit like that.
Was a fucking violin playing in the back?
No,
too and shit? Like, what the
like,
fuck?
dude, I'm telling you, they had avocado like we would make guacamole, like fresh
Hold on a second.
guacamole.
Hold on a second.
They had avocado trees, dude.
Why the fuck
They
is
fucking
it?
had avocado trees, dude.
Yeah, I like how the avocado tree is the sign of a great family. It's like
yeah,
you only
dude,
make guacamoles and
avocados.
fucking fajitas.
No, I'm telling you, man. That's how I learned. I'm not bullshitting you. Back then, that's how I learned how to make guacamole. Because as a child,
From David Oliver.
from David Oliver, the Olivers, because every fucking time he'd be like, hey, you want to? They would just get into it. And I remember one ingredient they used.
That's too fucking funny.
You know, they use Mrs. Dash lemon herb
Yeah.
seasoning on it, and that always caught my eye. I'm like, oh, they use Mrs. Dash.
That was the white people salt at
The
the time.
white people shit, yeah.
I remember.
Oh, Mrs. Dash lemon herb.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the time.
What in the fuck? Your dad seems a little more violent than other Korean dads though.
Yes.
Yeah, like my dad definitely didn't come in with tissue paper out of his asshole as he
Yeah.
beats me in front of this white kid named
Yeah,
David Oliver.
no, it was. Dude,
Like if-
let me
like-
tell you something. I'm glad you brought it up, and you know, rest in peace, pops. Rest in peace. But there was a time where I learned this, like in my 30s, where you know how Koreans, and then like only Koreans will know this, the whole keeping secrets.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about? I don't have to tell you twice.
Yeah.
Right? So there's that obviously in my family, but to the point where, well, dad knocked mom's tooth out? That's how she got that fake tooth?
Damn.
Yeah. And then I'm trying to work through this, and my brother's involved too. He's like, dude, I thought you knew. I'm like, no, motherfucker, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What the fuck? He's like, oh, I thought you knew. You don't remember that day we had to take the dresser and put it in front of the door, and mom's bleeding. There's blood coming out of my mom's mouth. I'm like, I think this is what happened. I think as a child, it was so traumatic. Like, I like blocked that out. Because I was like kind of remembering like glimpses of it or like the feeling, and I do remember like even when we lived in Minnesota and shit of like my mom like barricading doors and shit. Yeah, my dad was a monster. He was a monster back then.
And your mom stayed with him throughout the whole thing.
Well, this is going back to the Korean.
Yeah, there's a stigma too of like.
There's a stigma of even when the man knocks your tooth out. You know what I mean? It's fucking crazy.
That's fucking nuts.
That's fucking nuts, right?
My parents definitely had like crazy fights, and it's funny too because my mom thinks that even when I was younger that I wouldn't remember these things, but I remember like we were talking on the phone not too long ago, and I was telling her about a couple of my other friends who are going through marital issues, right? And I was asking her advice because I'm not married. I was like, hey, well, they're asking me, you know, for advice, and you know, do you have any wisdom to impart? And I kind of told them about the situation, and my mom was like, well, their relationship's all fucked up. Why are they even together? I was like, well, hold on, you fucking freak. Like, hold on a second. I was like, do you remember when I was like 8 years old, you threw a fully loaded rice cooker at our dad's head? And she goes, you remember that?
Oh, like, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, you can't just erase this shit.
I was like, yes, I remember. There was rice everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, there was rice in the cooker.
I had to clean it. Like, I'm like, of course I remember this.
Yeah.
And I said, at the house, you missed his head a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it cracked the tile, and that missing chunk is still there from when you threw the rice cooker. She goes, you have really good memory.
Yeah, oh, yeah. We don't forget.
Yeah, I remember that shit, you fucking psychopath.
Yeah, Korean parents are weird. They got this also that some of them can be a bit racist as far as like who they want you to be with too. You know,
my parents.
It can't just be any Asian. It's got to be South Korean. 한국 사람이야? 한국 사람.
You know what's
like,
interesting?
What the fuck?
Like my parents weren't so concerned about it. They were concerned about them, our kids not being able to speak Korean. So they were okay with me being with another ethnicity, but they had to know how to speak Korean.
What, you're a girl?
Yeah.
Experience.
Yeah, my parents were okay. Well, my dad's a pastor.
Oh,
so like,
wow.
you know, he doesn't give a fuck. You know, it's just more like, I don't want your kids not to know our culture.
Right,
so
right.
Although white people, he was a little bit like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Because he had like the stigma of like, if you get with the white girl, they're gonna leave you.
Yeah. So your dad was the man. He was like the little dude at the Korean church, the pastor.
Yeah.
At the Korean church.
Yeah, so he was a deacon at the church that we grew up in, and then he started his own church. He opened up his own church.
So he had first dibs on the donuts and all that shit.
All that other shit, dude.
He got the best coffee.
The pastor belly was coming out because everybody would give them food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Korean church, that was another kind of experience where
dude, it's so weird.
I just knew like the smell of the church and shit. Like I just knew after everyone leaves, I get donut, wenchos.
All Korean churches smell the same.
Yeah, they have a certain smell.
I'll go into the building. I'm like, Korean people were here.
Yeah. Oh
like,
yeah.
I could tell.
Yeah. Was your setup where like there's like a grown-up session and then the kids went to
there's a youth section.
There's like a whole youth building.
And then in Easter they would combine the services.
Oh, yeah.
And I fucking hated it.
But then in order to get the donuts, you'd have to go into the main adult area, and then to try to fend for yourself. Like,
so your dad went to church too?
All Korean, yeah.
That's so funny. It's like your dad.
And they're not religious fucking at all, man. It's like my mom had no clue. Like she, like once one of her homies got into Jehovah's Witness, guess what? She became a Jehovah's Witness. And then, dude, people don't know this. We attended fucking the Mormon church for a minute.
Get the fuck
what
out of here.
Korean motherfucker goes to fucking the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, dog?
How long were you a Mormon for?
I don't know, but dude, it was the most weird fucking experience.
Really?
Talk about you're the only Asian there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
one black family, and then there's you. And all white.
It seems like your mom was just looking for any type of salvation.
No,
It's
this
like
is
anybody.
this is elders just knocking on the door and saying, "Hi, this is." You know what I mean? Missionary, you know,
There
whatever.
was a lot of like Korean Jehovah Witnesses that would come to the house, but then they didn't know my father was a pastor. So I would always try to warn these motherfuckers, like,
Hey,
don't come to this house. Like my dad will trap you
You got the
here.
wrong one.
So
you
this-
got the fucking wrong
Like
one.
I remember the last time Jehovah Witnesses came to our house, it was these two Ajamas.
Oh yeah.
Like, have you heard of Jehovah Witnesses? And my dad was, it was on a Sunday, and my dad was like, perfect. He's like, come on in, like, we'll let's talk about it. They walk in, and my dad has like a library shelf full of Christian theology. Like he's read.
Like
it's
I said, you got the wrong one today.
And
you got the wrong one.
I just looked at these poor ladies. I'm like, you should have left when you had the chance.
How's their little illustrated pamphlet? That thin little fucking pamphlet gonna fucking, you know, battle the doctrines and
And
shit.
so my dad was just talking to them about like Protestant and like Catholicism and like Christian theology for like 8 hours, and these people got exhausted.
Yeah.
But then they were there for so long, my mom made the lunch ended.
Yeah.
Fucked up, you should have left.
That's something I would never do in like 10 lifespans. Like,
Oh, 100%.
like go to random people's houses, knock on their fucking door, intrude, and be like, "Hey, can I talk to you about God?" You know, it's like, fuck that.
It's a little odd. I don't know what the approach is. I don't know what the success rate of that is too, right? Like, what's the percentage on that shit?
It's got, but that's the thing is, it's in numbers.
Yeah.
You got, God knows how many fucking doors they knock on.
Oh, 100%.
Like hundreds of doors. Like, hey, they must get good exercise. Huh?
You know, for you, so like, you got into like rap around.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sorry. Let's get back. We got off on the Korean shit. We always end up on the Korean
We
shit.
can talk about that for
I
3,000
know.
podcasts.
All right, so I gotta remember. Okay, so this new album, during quarantine, I was watching movies, you know, just random. You know, I was bored and shit. You know, I was getting my
Yeah.
editing done. I was doing everything, but I'm like, watch this, and then I fucking ran across like old movies I used to love as kid, like as a kid. One of them was Stir Crazy, you know, Gene Wilder,
Yeah,
Richard Pryor. And dude, I don't know when you saw that last, but I was dying. Like their
I haven't seen that
their
shit in-
performances together, I was fucking. Especially both of them together were just genius. And then I was like thinking like, oh, it would be sick if I could do some kind of concept music project out of this. And so that's when the seed was planted. I didn't know what or how. But then I just started like just I didn't bite their whole like I would take little clips of shit, and then I would try to make a beat and shit around it, and then whatever dialogue I captured, I would try to make a whole concept. Like there's a scene where like Richard Pryor is in the hospital ward and he's finding out his doctor's Korean.
Oh yeah.
And then the doctor, instead of the doctor saying, "How do you do?" he goes, "How do you go?" And so I sampled just that, "How do you go?" And I made a whole song. It's about like, how do you go when you die? You know what I mean? Because you know people were passing away. MF Doom had just passed.
Yeah.
Fucking Double K from People Under the Stairs had just passed. So I'm like, oh, I want to make, you know, it's like more of a sentimental kind of beat, jazzy beat. And so that's just an example. So I made a whole fucking concept album just from me like just watching fucking that movie and getting inspired.
Are you producing all the stuff yourself?
Yeah, I produced all of it. Yeah, and that's the thing. It took me a while because I'm not one of those, you know, musicians or rappers that like, hey, you got any hot beats? I'm not one of those guys. Because for me, this is for personal reasons. I enjoy it's kind of like you paint it. You paint you color it in, or you do it.
Yeah.
Instead of, no, I want to like do it. I want to create the thing, you know?
You're like Prince.
Yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to, even if it sounds shitty, like, because I did it on GarageBand and my own little 303 sampler, like, even if it's like hella analog or dusty, I made it.
Yeah.
I picked all the I arranged it. I found the drum loop. Yeah, I did it, you know?
This podcast is brought to you by Raycon, my friends. I don't know about you, but I feel like I'm always looking at a screen now more than ever. I wonder why, and whether you're an avid